Hello everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. As most of you are aware, Sony Pictures and Sony, the company in general, received a rather unscrupulous hack. They had pretty much all of their private emails released over the past decade. They've had a number of films that have actually been released online. And a lot of reports and rumors that were rumors and conjecture before are now actually confirmed to be real. At least they were in some fashion. Now, I have, for the most part, I've tried to steer away from them, not necessarily reading them, but I don't want to perpetuate this behavior. I don't want to encourage it, so I haven't really talked about it, but there's been a lot of things that have come out from this that I just wanted to discuss. So it's mainly going to be about the Marvel section. I don't want to get into all the Steve Jobs stuff or any of that stuff, or even the animated stuff that they've been talking about. This is just specifically information that we know has come out, is either continuing on or is stalled right now, but could continue on later on. So one of the biggest ones, and this was actually just confirmed today, well, not confirmed, it's just the email was actually unveiled today, that Joe and Anthony Russo are in fact going to direct Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. The reason that this came out is because Amy Pascal, the senior VP at Sony, had apparently reached out to them about being a part of developing a new Spider-Man franchise with the help of Marvel and tying that into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because there were talks to include Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War. So that's where that whole thing kind of started, where there was back and forth about whether or not they could include him, who's going to get creative control and all that stuff. And I think they had finalized on Sony having creative control it was going to be like a 60-40 split. And they were also going to have marketing and distribution rights, but it was going to fit within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And one of the things with this was that it was going to be not necessarily a reboot, but it was going to be a whole new version of the character. We weren't going to see an origin story. They made that specifically clear, that they've already done the origin story. Marvel is not at a point right now where they are keen on doing origin stories, because the entire first movie is kind of just about that person becoming that character. And then the second movie allows them to go on and on and on and on and on. So not doing an origin story, I think, is by far the best way to go. And you can tell that was Marvel's input. That was Marvel's emphasis, saying we're not doing, if this is going to happen, we're not doing an origin story, and we're not touching anything that you guys have done up until this point. We are going to be starting fresh. So they're not even going to tie in or mention the Tobey Maguire universe, because there's been talks about that too, about Sam Raimi potentially coming back in and, well, not potentially. There was an email that said that they had reached out, and there might have been talks between them. But it wouldn't tie anything with that. It wouldn't tie in with anything in the Amazing Spider-Man universe. And to me, that's a little bit of a downer, only because I really like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I think he's a great Peter Parker. I think he's a great Spider-Man. And I think that Amazing Spider-Man 1 was great. I really liked that movie. It had really unique fight sequences that we hadn't really seen yet with Spider-Man. I felt that they did a better job at an origin story for Spider-Man. I think it flowed better. It made more sense. It made the character actually appear smart. But also, I didn't find that Tobey Maguire was a great fit for the character. His voice kind of worked in the suit, but you still couldn't see his face. But himself as Peter Parker, I never saw that working. So the thing that I really like about this is because there's been rumors for a while that the Russo brothers would be directing the Avengers Infinity War. And I think that's a great step, because, I mean, Winter Soldier was one of the best Marvel movies that they've put out so far. Civil War is brewing to be a great film, if not another Winter Soldier in this universe, where it's kind of set the bar, set the precedent as to what the other films need to achieve. So I really like this. I really like this about them coming on board to direct it. It also means that they would not be able to be involved in a standalone Spider-Man movie or trilogy if that were in fact to happen. Because let's not forget, as it stands right now, the doors are closed on that. But that does not mean that they will not reopen in the future. There are possibilities. Sony is in the mindset right now of working with Marvel. Marvel is in the mindset of, hey, you know what? If we can do it, let's get Marvel back. Or let's get Spider-Man back. So there are a lot of possibilities. Marvel's not in a situation right now where they need Spider-Man. So it's not really at the top of their game. If Sony was to come back with talks, then Marvel would, of course, listen, and they would try to negotiate something. But as it stands right now, there's really nothing about that. But the fact remains that this leak has severely affected the company. And not because that, this is saying that Sony is so much worse than the other companies. Every studio out there, you can guarantee this. You could bet $1 million on this, that every movie studio out there has that same type of email chains going on between some of their executives. Maybe not as heated as the Rude and Pascal emails got, but I guarantee that they are, because at the end of the day, they are considered private. They are considered private emails. And so those people will act a different way when you are writing something privately, or at least believe that it will be private. So, I mean, take from that what you will. But as it stands right now, the Russo brothers are directing Infinity War until Marvel officially confirms that. But they said that they would not be able to deal with the Spider-Man movies because of their intention to direct Infinity War. But it is also not going to affect their, what's it called? The something man. They're doing another project after Civil War and before Infinity War. That's kind of weird. They're going to do Civil War and then Infinity War. Oh, well. They are doing another film with Sony. And they said that while they are confirmed to direct Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2, it will not affect their schedule that they have set aside for this other movie with Sony. So that's how that information came out. But it looks as though they are, in fact, directing it, at least at this stage. It might change later on, but I don't see it. Marvel knows that these guys are the real deal, that they have delivered probably one of their best received movies. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody loved it, but I think at the end of the day, people will recognize that Winter Soldier is not by far, but it is a better movie. It is a better constructed movie. Guardians was more fun, but Winter Soldier was better. I still enjoyed them both immensely. I thought they were both great achievements in filmmaking. So that's what I have to say on that. But dealing with Guardians, James Gunn was actually just doing an interview with Screen Junkies, and they asked him if the mood for Avengers 2, which is very dark, very somber, if that is going to be affecting the mood of Guardians 2 at all. And James Gunn basically came out and said that, well, the Avengers and the Guardians won't necessarily connect in the way that we think that they will. And what he said was that, Earth is the Avengers province. That's not the Guardians. They have their whole other galaxy that they need to take care of. He's also said in an interview maybe 2 weeks ago or a week ago that the lineup would most likely be evolving and changing as the movies go on too. They won't necessarily keep the same Guardians throughout every film. I have to call a big red herring on this. I mean, I don't see why Marvel would not, they're using Guardians of the Galaxy not only because it's got a lot of cool pop culture references and really cool visuals, but they're using it to bring about the Thanos storyline. One of the biggest parts of the Thanos storyline is Drax the Destroyer. Now, whether or not the Guardians themselves are in, all of them are in Avengers Infinity War Part 1 or Part 2, you can almost guarantee that there's going to be at least some of the characters. There's no reason why, they would have created a new movie that is not realistically going to fit within the universe, outside of the fact of them just including Thanos. Because after Infinity War Part 2, there isn't going to be a Thanos. At least most likely there isn't going to be a Thanos. I mean, judging by every other film that's come out in the history of film, the good guys normally win, especially with dealing with something like this. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that Thanos is going to be taken down, as it were, at the end of Infinity War Part 2. So what does that do for Guardians? If that is the case, if they're not going to cross over with the Avengers, that means that their connection to the MCU is now gone. So it makes sense for them to include them. Maybe not all of them. Gamora is the adopted daughter of Thanos. Drax has basically a blood debt. He needs to kill him because he killed his family. So I call a big red herring. I think that's just him trying to get everybody off the scent, because he's getting so many questions about Guardians 2 that I'm pretty sure that he's just trying to come up with different answers for certain questions. Maybe not saying the same thing, because eventually it's just, okay, well, we can't give out any more information. We can't give any more information, yada, yada, yada. So I don't believe those comments at all, at least not fully. I do think that we are going to see the Guardians interact with the Avengers in Infinity War. I don't think we're going to see, I don't think we're going to see Rocket and Groot and Drax and Gamora and Star-Lord. I think that might be what he's alluding to. I think that Star-Lord is definitely going to be a part of it. I think everybody out there wants Rocket Raccoon to be a part of it. Groot might not be a part of it. Who knows? It all depends on what their plans are for that movie, because we still don't know what their plans are for Infinity War. Josh Brolin just came out and said that, it's Thanos against everybody. So again, that kind of, we're getting mixed signals from them. It doesn't quite make sense. But I say right now, James Gunn is just kind of throwing everybody off their scent, because I'm almost guaranteeing that the Guardians will, in some fashion, cross over with the Avengers in Avengers Infinity War. So that's where we stand right now. Spider-Man could potentially come back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe at some point in the near future, but as it stands right now, those talks are done, at least for the near future. The Russo brothers are in fact directing Infinity War, and we're hoping that Marvel will come out and officially announce that. Most likely they'll announce that during the production of Civil War. I'm assuming we'll get that. And James Gunn, I'm sorry, I don't believe you when you say that they will not be crossing over. To me, it doesn't make sense based on what you guys have already built up. It goes against what you guys have built up, kind of. Because, there's been a lot of talks recently about Edgar Wright's version of Ant-Man, and how the reason that they decided not to go with that was because it didn't fit into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and so that just flies right in the face of those comments. So I don't think of that as being accurate at all. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think that James Gunn is correct in saying the Guardians and Avengers won't cross over? What are your thoughts on the Russo brothers directing Infinity War? Because I think that's just a brilliant choice. And I think we've all talked about this before, but what do you think the chances of Spider-Man coming back into the MCU are? Not the chances of, there being a petition going out or anything like that, but what do you think the actual chances are of Sony and Marvel striking a deal to, at some point in the near future, in the next, maybe in Phase 4, including Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. And if we do get any more information about any of these topics, I will definitely update you guys on here. In between the recordings of the individual segments of the show, a brand new news story has broken, which actually ties in with the Marvel news that I was talking about at the beginning of this show. According to Latino Review, the 3 contenders for the role of the Ancient One in Marvel's Doctor Strange, are Ken Watanabe, Morgan Freeman, and Bill Nye. So those are the 3 contenders for the role of the Ancient One. Now they go on in the article to say that while Benedict Cumberbatch is officially playing Doctor Strange, it's unclear how much of a big role the Ancient One will play, since it's being said that there is no origin story for the film. And for those of you who don't know, the Ancient One is he is a mentor of Doctor Strange, the previous Sorcerer Supreme, and in the comics ends up training and rejecting Mordo, the character heavily rumored to be the villain in Marvel's adaptation. So there you have it, guys. The 3 contenders for the role of the Ancient One, as it stands right now, the ones that Marvel are looking at, are Ken Watanabe from Godzilla and Batman Begins, Morgan Freeman, and Bill Nye. Now, for those of you who don't know Bill Nye, although most of you should, and if you don't, shame on you, Bill Nye is, he was in the Underworld series. He's been... he played Davy Jones in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. He's just an immense talent, has been working in the industry for a long, long time now. And he is one that I haven't even thought of having him in contention for a role in the Marvel Universe, just because he's usually not in the press all that much. And his name never really pops up. And I don't mean just being related to a story. I mean just in general, he's just not talked about really any of his films. He doesn't do a lot of press for his movies and all that kind of stuff. And he's a fantastic actor. I mean, if I had to choose any of these guys, I would probably have to go with Bill Nye, because Bill Nye has he has the right type of a voice that's not instantly recognizable. I mean, if you know Bill Nye, you know that it's his voice. And I'm not talking about Bill Nye the science guy. I'm talking about Bill Nye the actor. So yeah, there you go, guys. We have the contenders for the role of the Ancient One. So we don't still know how big of a role he's going to have, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, really, really cool little news drop right there. So again, jump in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about these choices, whether or not you think that they're all good. If you think that they're, kind of generic, kind of the ones that you would assume that those would be the people that they'd be going after. But one of the things to notice as well, they are going, and this is what I have talked about to the nth degree. each one of these actors, they're looking for the best possible person in this role. One of these actors is white, one of these actors is African American, and one of these actors is an Asian actor. They don't care about the race. They care about who is the best actor, and they are choosing who is the best actor. They don't care that if the role specifically states that it needs to be this person. They say, no, it doesn't. It needs to be the best actor who can play the role, and that is it. If there are certain characteristics of the specific character that states they should be of some descent, or of, you know, of certain age or certain ethnicity or certain gender or whatever the case is, then let that be that. But Batman Begins showed us that you could have a character like Ra's al Ghul and have him actually be a contemporary Caucasian male and still have the essence of the character there. And that's why it works. That's why you can have somebody like Morgan Freeman play this role. You could also, in the same role, have Ken Watanabe play him. You could also have Bill Nye. 3 completely different actors, but all amazing in each of their craft. So I am very happy with any of these choices. If they come out and announce it's one of those 3, I could not find one to complain about. The only one, actually, no, I can't even complain about Morgan Freeman. He's gone on record to say that he'll just choose a movie for a paycheck. But he still brings his A game every single time. So I'm really happy with these choices. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about these choices, whether or not they work for you, whether or not they strike you as odd or anything of that sort. Let me know in the comment section. But if we do get more information about Doctor Strange, I will definitely update you guys on here. Disney and Pixar have released their first official trailer for Inside Out, and I have to tell you, oh my god, does this movie look charming. Like, oh, it's so endearing, it's so funny. Like, I was laughing through the entire trailer because this is the type of conversation that I think we're all relatable to. You know, the kid sitting at the table had a tough day at school, the mom trying to interact, dad's just kind of wandering off in his own head. I think we've all had that interaction at some point in our lives. But then seeing what is actually going on inside somebody's head and how it's actually a set of other characters and they each have their own individual personalities. Like, I started laughing as soon as I saw them. And then when you get, you know, Lewis Black in there as anger, like there's the 5 emotions in your head, in the head, Inside Out. They are sadness, disgust, fear, joy, and anger. And it's just everything about, like, when the wife signals the husband and they just like, they're sitting there watching the soccer game and they go, hold on, she's trying to signal us. And he goes, what did she say? He's, sorry, sir, nobody was listening. Like, it's just, every part of it just made me laugh. This looks like it's going to be a home run for Pixar. I think this just looks absolutely incredible. I mean, it's so clever. Just every aspect of it. Even though this is only one little scene, I don't want to see another trailer for it. This has sold me. It's given me the tone. It's given me the concept, kind of the idea of the movie, and a taste of the humor, but I don't want to see any more. This, to me, has sold me. I want to see this movie now. I don't want to see any more of it until I see the full thing in theaters, because this, to me, worked. And I really like seeing trailers like this now. I mean, we just had, what was the last one that did this for me was, I think, Tomorrowland, where the majority of the trailer was a scene in the movie. There was another one just recently that came out that was kind of like that too. It was mostly just a scene, and I'm drawing a blank as to what it is. For those of you who watch the shows, go ahead and put a comment section, or a comment in the comment section about which trailer I'm thinking of, because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But this just looks hilarious. I mean, you have Anger, you know, getting ready, cracking his knuckles, and he's about to hit that button, and he punches the other guy to get out of the way, and then he smacks the button, the fire comes out of his hair, and he's like, you want to bring it? Bring it! Like, it just looks so funny and charming, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this movie to come out. If you guys have not checked out the trailer, the link is in the description of this video below. Go ahead and check it out, because it just looks absolutely hilarious. But one part I need to bring up about this has really nothing to do about the movie. This is something I touched on the other day. What stick is shoved so far up Devin Faraci's ass that he cannot be entertained by this trailer? Like, seriously. I talked about it the other day, that he comes across as somebody who he is the opposite of a film fan, because he bashes on everything, regardless of the quality. If the movie looks bad, he'll say it looks bad. Most people will do the same. But if the movie looks mildly entertaining, or at least looks to serve its own purpose, he still gives it, a garbage review. Like this trailer, the main caption on his link, I wanted to double check. I wanted to see if what I said earlier I think it was Wednesday's episode, if what I said earlier was still holding true about him, because I haven't visited that site in a couple of weeks, in almost a month, and I wanted to see, okay, is it still the same? And the first thing I saw was his quote for the trailer of San Andreas was, this just looks stupid, or I'm paraphrasing, but it was essentially like that. This looks dumber than I thought, or his actual words were, "This looks stupider than I could have imagined." He used the word stupider. I mean, anyway. But with the trailer for Inside Out, he said, no, this is not a 1950s sitcom, because he said all the humor in this is dated. It should be more in the realm of the 21st century, like the animation style. Like, come on, are you being for real? Are you being serious? Like, stop doing what you're doing because you clearly, A, do not enjoy it, and B, you're taking the exact opposite viewpoint on everything just because it's the opposite viewpoint. And I hate that about certain people. To me, it's the equivalent of clickbaiting, because you are just putting that out there because you want to have a different opinion, regardless if that's your actual opinion. And if that is his actual opinion, then he is in the wrong profession, because it's infuriating me that, and not to say that he's disliking things that I like. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the general consensus out there of everybody really attaching themselves to the trailer or a news article or a casting decision or something along those lines. And for the majority of people out there, that they like it. And then he doesn't. But then there's other times where the majority of people out there will not like something, and he will. And the amount of times that happens is what causes me to think this way. Because it's not just like, oh, he disagrees with me, so I'm going to be mad at him. No, it's not that. It is not that at all. Looking at the past several months of articles on his site, if you look at the articles that are not written by him, for the most part, they're not cynical. All of his articles are, because he's either just a very, very angry individual who should not be a film journalist in any shape, sense, or form. I mean, granted, he gets scoops, absolutely. He gets insider information, absolutely. But he puts his own opinion on it, but I'm still not even convinced that that's his own opinion, because if it is, he wouldn't be as successful as he is, because he wouldn't want to keep doing this anymore as a profession. So I'm just really irritated at somebody like that in this profession, who is most likely not giving out his official opinion, his actual opinion. He's giving out, what does everybody like? Okay, I'm going to do the opposite, and we're going to do that. Not whether or not he likes it or not. And that really does tick me off. So anyway, I still think this trailer looks absolutely incredible. I think the movie is going to be just something completely unique that we haven't seen from Pixar in a while. I think this has the makings of becoming maybe a new Toy Story franchise, because you can make a franchise out of this. Absolutely. And I mean, you could have her as a kid, then the next movie you could have her becoming a teenager and dealing with puberty and all that kind of stuff, and everything that's going on with your emotions. And then the third one could be very similar to Toy Story. It could be leaving home for the first time and going off to college. This has the potential to be a very cool, interesting franchise, and I'm really digging it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, whether or not you're liking it, whether or not you dislike it, or your overall hatred or enjoyment of Devin Faraci. So this movie is going to be opening up on June 19th, 2015, in both here in Canada and the States. It's opening up in July overseas, but if we do get more information about Inside Out, I will reluctantly share it on here, because I don't want to see it anymore. I want to see the full movie. I don't want any more information about this movie to be spoiled for me, because this trailer has sold me 100%. But if we do get more information about it, I will update you guys on here. We have a brand new trailer here for Michael Mann's upcoming Blackhat, which will be coming out in January. First off, that should be warning bells that it's coming out in January, unless the studio is seeing that they have a lot of confidence in this and opening up when there's no competition whatsoever to deal with. But the one thing I have to say, because up until this point, I have been fairly nervous about this movie only because of the trailer that we got. The first trailer that we got for the movie did not sell me on it at all. I felt that the music was completely wrong for it. I didn't like the shots that they were showing, and even in this trailer, there are some shots that I don't like, just because of Michael Mann's need to use almost DV cams. Like, he doesn't use traditional cameras for his films. He shoots in digital because you can pick up light better in it. Night scenes look a lot better. He likes to shoot at night. It makes it more freeing, more capable. You can move the set around a little bit if you need to. You don't really need to adjust the lighting because you can almost use natural light. But this new trailer If you haven't seen it yet, you can click the link in the description of this video. This new trailer is leaps and bounds better than the first trailer. This trailer sold me on the movie. This looks cool. Like, there are so many aspects of this trailer that really do speak out about what type of movie this is. It brings about the urgency of what's going on. It brings about, you know, the chaos that could happen from just somebody hitting a keystroke on a keyboard. You really get a sense of the ominous presence that is happening on the other side of the phone whenever talking to Chris Hemsworth's character. Just overall, this movie, this trailer sold me on it by far. I mean, the music was right for it. The setup in the trailer showcasing the power plant meltdown, because that was just kind of, that was almost like brushed off in the first trailer. They didn't really do anything with that, but in this trailer, it leads off with that. It leads off with all the systematic updates up until you see, you know, one of the stacks of a nuclear reactor has collapsed. And then they got to bring in Chris Hemsworth's character, who is a hacker, who is serving 15 years because he's a super hacker of some kind. They got to try to track him down. And through that, there is a cat and mouse game between him, not only between him and the terrorist, but between him and the CIA and the NSA. Because judging from the trailer, what I think is happening is that the guy who he's after is setting him up, because in the trailer, it shows that it looks like he has tried to hack into the NSA database, and they're starting to go after Chris Hemsworth now. I think that it's going to be the villain in the movie that is actually going to be hacking in, but making it appear as though he was the one who was doing it. So it looks like there's a lot of duplicity in this trailer. There's a lot of different motivations and double and triple agents. So I really like the mystery that's going on with this, and this trailer really did effectively sell that to me. While again, like I said, there was a couple of shots in this trailer that didn't work for me. Overall, the conception and content within this trailer really did work in terms of how he shot it. You know, using digital, it worked. Maybe it was just the choice of shots that he chose, but there's a couple of them that just don't look right. They look like they're shot on, you know, a little handy cam that you can hold it just in one hand instead of one of the nice big professional cameras with nice lenses and the sort. So this movie, I mean, to me personally, it has the capability of being his next Collateral, of his next Heat. And I hope, my prayers are that this does not become the next Miami Vice, because Miami Vice had a lot riding on it. The trailers looked really cool, at least to me. I could see in the trailer, like watching the trailer again, a lot of the really cool shots were only because of the song and because my favorite band is Linkin Park, that, you know, they were playing the Numb Encore remix. That was my favorite song at the time. So I think there was a little bit of manipulation in my own head to like that trailer, but still, this looks like it really could be a pleasant surprise. I'm really excited about this movie now, and it was this trailer. That last trailer did not sell it for me. I was not really looking forward to it, but this time I am. You know, you got Viola Davis is in the movie, and she is a massive talent. You know, yeah, I can't remember his name, but he was not necessarily the villain, but he was a very bad individual in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and he was also a helper of Vin Diesel in The Chronicles of Riddick. I can't remember the actor's name, but he is the one who is playing the villain, and he is menacing. If you've seen David Fincher's version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, you know which role I'm talking about. He's the one who has interactions with why am I forgetting her name now? Rooney Mara's character, Elizabeth Salinger, when he has interactions with her. And I'm only going to say that because if you haven't seen it yet, I do not want to spoil it in any way, shape, or form. But it is unsettling. But yeah, he's playing the villain in this. Like, it's got a really top-notch cast. I like the look of this movie so far. I mean, not the camera. I mean, the overall setup and construction of the movie. It looks like it's going to be a really cool cat and mouse game that's spanning the globe. And it's been a while since we've had something like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, whether or not you're into this, whether or not you think that this is a miss. If you think that the January release date is a signal of what's to come or anything of that sort, let me know in the comment section below. But when it comes to Blackhat, the movie's going to be opening up here in Canada and the States in January of 2015, so just over a month from now. If we do get more information about this topic up until that point, I will definitely update you guys on here. Now we're under our user-submitted question segment of the show. For those of you who are unaware, if you have a topic or a question you'd like to have discussed on the show, every Friday episode we try to save as much time as we can at the end of the episode to answer as many questions as we can. So this week we have a question coming in from Culture Inject, who asks, my first question is about Star Wars 8 and 9. Who are some of the directors that you think would be a good choice to direct them? My other question is whether you have considered making any of your videos available in audio format on iTunes. I wouldn't mind listening to them while on the go. Thanks. All right, well, Culture, so just to let you know, I'll get the last one out of the way first. So, yes, I have been considering doing an audio-only version of this show. As it stands right now, I am just not in the capacity with the amount of time that I have at my disposal to be able to do that, at least not right away. That could be something where, you know, every Friday or every Saturday or something along those lines. If I get a day off from my actual job, then I would be able to set aside some time to actually do the audio only options and then be able to send them out. But yes, that is definitely something that I am working on, that I will be bringing out. I don't know when. Depending, I'm going to do a little bit of research and see exactly what all is involved with getting the most simplistic way to do it while still being able to make sure the quality of the show stays the same and all that kind of stuff. So it will be coming, absolutely, and I will update as soon as I have more information about that. But as it stands right now, it is not something that we're going to be doing within the next month or so, but soon. Probably sometime in the first couple of months of next year, I will be launching something along those lines where it will be the audio-only version, so you guys can listen to it on the way, on the way to work or anything like that. But to answer the first part of your question about who would be good choices to direct Star Wars 8 and 9, well, we already have a director for Star Wars 8. We know that, who is it? Rian Johnson, the director of Looper and Brick. He is actually the one who is writing and directing Star Wars Episode 8. He is also writing the treatment for Episode 9. It was originally announced that he was directing both of them, but they revised that almost immediately and said that he is just writing the treatment for number 9. So looking at that, though, who would direct number 9? Who would be a good choice? At face value, that's almost an impossible question to answer, only because we don't know where this saga is going. We don't know where the story is going to take us. Speculating on what is already involved, what we've already seen, what we already know is kind of coming. With Rian Johnson directing Episode 8, we know that it's going to be a darker movie. It's going to be the Empire of this trilogy. It's going to be the darkest one, unless they somehow make sure that the third one is even darker, although I don't know how they're going to do that. If that is the standard way of a trilogy, is that the third movie in the trilogy is a resolution of all or most of the issues that they've dealt with throughout the previous films or the previous installments. So I don't know if the third movie is going to be darker than Episode 8, but if it is, or even if it isn't, there's the obvious choices out there. There's Duncan Jones and Neil Blomkamp. Out of the two of them, I would rather see Duncan Jones. I just like his body of work better, because from what we've seen from Neil Blomkamp, while I'm really looking forward to Chappie, he has a very unique visual style, which I really admire. I admire a director having a unique visual style. The only problem is all of his movies are starting to look the same. Not just the style, but everything, like where he set the film, what concepts are involved in the movies and all that kind of stuff. They're all starting to look the same. And I hope that that is not something that we would get from a Star Wars film. Because a Star Wars film needs to look and feel like a Star Wars film while having somebody else's unique stamp on it. And that's why I think Rian Johnson could really work, because if you look at his films, there isn't all that much outside style and outside influence from them, but they are inherently Rian Johnson films. You have to kind of watch the movies to understand. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining that, and I really do apologize, but if I had to choose right now, somebody who would kind of be... If you look at... They've got J.J. Abrams, who... He is the person a lot of people were hoping would get the job, because he basically made Star Wars with Star Trek. So all the other directors that they've chosen so far are really, really good up-and-coming directors. You know, we have Gareth Edwards, who is directing the first Star Wars standalone film. Then we have Rian Johnson directing Star Wars Episode 8. Then we have Josh Trank, who did Chronicle. He's now doing Fantastic Four. He's going to be doing the second Star Wars spinoff. So going on that model, either going by an emerging director or somebody who is very well known in kind of the sci-fi genre, I would either have to go with Duncan Jones, but the only problem with that is that he's doing Warcraft, and if Warcraft's a hit, then he's probably going to return for the sequel. He's not really going to want to do that. I would love to see Brad Bird. I think everybody out there would love to see what Brad Bird could do with it. I think he would really bring a grandiose sense to the movie, a sensation of that to the movie. But if I had to choose one right now, and my opinion could change in 2 months, But I would really like to see if somebody else wrote it, if Rian Johnson is actually writing the movie, or somebody else of quality is writing the movie, I would really like to see what the Wachowskis could do with a Star Wars film. I think that would be really visually interesting, especially if they're not writing the script, because if you get somebody who can properly write the script and properly develop characters, put in nonsensical dialogue, like, I have more in common with a dog than with a human. Oh, what are you talking about? I love dogs. It's like, really? Come on. As much as I'm really looking forward to Jupiter Ascending, that line should never have made it into any trailer at all. That shouldn't even make it into the final movie. They should cut that out, because that is just an abysmal line. And even watching any of their other films outside of the first Matrix movie, they are not that great at writing dialogue. So getting somebody else in there, like Rian Johnson or somebody else of that sort, even getting Larry Kasdan on board to help, spearhead the script, because he's working on episode 7 with J.J. Abrams. I'm pretty sure that he's going to be kind of godfathering this new trilogy, but they got somebody in there to write the script and to get a really unique visual director in there to really see and enhance this world. I would really like to see the Wachowskis. But if not, I mean, all the other choices right now are kind of everybody who's hot right now. And I never really like going by that, because by the time this movie is, like, episode 9, for instance, is going to be released in 2019, which means they're probably going to start, they're going to get the director probably in 2017, maybe even by the end of 2016. We are still a very far way out from that. And I think that we need to wait and see what tone and mood comes out of these movies, because even from the teaser trailer for The Force Awakens, there have been people out there saying that, it looks like they could be trying to include a little bit of family friendly. They could be trying to gear it a little bit towards kids. Not prequel style towards kids, but still having a little bit of that jovial humor in that movie. Little thing, like a lot of people I think are talking about BB-8, who is the little soccer ball looking droid. So I mean, I would personally like to see the Wachowskis handle it. I think they could really do a good job. But the more important question is, who do you guys want to see? Who would you like to see direct number 8? I mean, if everything goes well, Rian Johnson directing it could work out really well. But one of the things that made the original trilogy so successful was that each film had its own director and had its own unique visual style, while still maintaining a Star Wars feel. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to be a better director, or who would be a better choice to direct the movie? Some people I know want J.J. Abrams to come back. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be kind of the overseer of this franchise in terms of what direction it's going in. Larry Kasdan's going to help out with the script details and little subtle hints and Easter eggs that they're going to be dropping in there for future installments. So I think we're in for a good wait. But my personal opinion would be J.J. Abrams for number 7, Rian Johnson for number 8, the Wachowskis for number 9. I think they could do a good job, as long as they're not writing it. That's the main contention. If it comes out and says that Rian Johnson wrote the treatment, the Wachowskis are writing and directing Star Wars Episode 9, I'm done. Because that's not going to work out. It's going to have contrived dialogue. It's going to be overly complicated dialogue that's really not going to make any sense. And yes, I'm talking to you, Architect Scene. So no, I don't have any faith in them as a writer, but as a director, oh my God. The visual style, the way that Jupiter Ascending looks, that movie looks so cool. And that's what Star Wars, you're supposed to look at it and go, that looks cool. So that's what I want from it. And I hope that's what they bring. But if we do get more information about this, Culture Inject, I hope that answers your question. I really do hope that answers your question. If not, put a comment in the comment section as to what you think could be different, what you think, who would you like to see direct the movie? All that kind of stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if we do get more information about this topic, I will definitely update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Go ahead and click the subscribe button there in the bottom corner. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And you can also give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. If you guys ever have a topic or a question you'd like to have discussed on the show, go ahead and write a comment in the comment section, or you can email us at movienewswithniklsun@gmail.com. And on every Friday episode, we'll try to get to as many as we can. But until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.